The 12 labors of Heracles in Greek stone Friezes long ago, in the land of ancient Greece, there lived a hero named Heracles. He was the son of Zeus, the king of the gods, and a mortal woman named Augean. Heracles was known for his incredible strength and bravery. But his life was not easy, because of a terrible curse placed upon him by the goddess Hera. He was driven to madness and committed a great crime. To make up for this, he was ordered to serve King Eurystheus and perform 12 impossible tasks. These tasks became known as the 12 labors of Heracles. The stories of these labors were so famous that the ancient Greeks carved them into stone friezes, beautiful sculptures that decorated temples and buildings. These stone carvings told the tale of Heracles' struggles and triumphs. Today we can still see some of these friezes in museums and ruins, preserving the legend for all to see. The first labor was to slay the Nemean Lion. This was no ordinary lion. Its golden fur could not be pierced by any weapon. Heracles wrestled the beast with his bare hands and strangled it. Afterward he wore its skin as armor. In stone friezes we see Heracles gripping the lion, his muscles straining as he overpowers the mighty creature. The second labor was to kill the Lernaean Hydra, a monstrous serpent with many heads. Every time one head was cut off, 2 more would grow in its place. Heracles used fire to burn the necks after cutting them, preventing new heads from forming. His nephew Iolaus helped him by searing the wounds. The friezes show Heracles standing in the swamp, his club raised high, and the Hydra's twisting bodies coiling around him. For his third labor, Heracles had to capture the golden hind of Artemis. This sacred deer had golden antlers and was faster than the wind. Heracles chased it for an entire year before finally catching it. The stone carvings depict him gently holding the deer, careful not to harm it, as it was sacred to the goddess Artemis. The fourth labor was to capture the Erymanthian Boar, a giant and furious beast. Heracles chased it through the snow-covered mountains, exhausting it until he could trap it in a net. In the friezes, we see him carrying the massive boar on his shoulders, bringing it back to King Eurystheus, who was so afraid he hid in a large jar. The fifth labor was to clean the Augean stables in a single day. These stables belonged to King Augean and had not been cleaned in years, filled with mountains of filth. Heracles diverted 2 rivers to wash the stables clean. Though this labor seemed simple, it showed his cleverness. The stone carvings show him digging, the water rushing through the stalls. The sixth labor was to drive away the Stymphalian birds. These were vicious birds with metal feathers that they could shoot like arrows. Heracles used a pair of bronze clappers given to him by Athena to scare the birds into the air, then shot them down with his arrows. The friezes capture the moment the birds take flight, Heracles standing firm with his bow ready. The seventh labor was to capture the Cretan bull, a beast that was terrorizing the island of Crete. This was the same bull that would later father the Minotaur. Heracles wrestled it into submission and brought it back alive. The stone carvings show him gripping the bull's horns, his legs braced against its strength. The eighth labor was to steal the mares of Diomedes. These were wild, man-eating horses owned by a cruel king. Heracles tamed them by feeding them their own master, then led them back to Eurystheus. The friezes depict the horses rearing in fury, Heracles holding them with unbreakable strength. The ninth labor was to obtain the belt of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. Hippolyta was willing to give it to him, but Hera spread lies that made the Amazons attack. Heracles fought them and took the belt. The stone carvings show him standing before Hippolyta, the belt in his hand, the battle raging around them. The 10th labor was to steal the cattle of Geryon, a 3-bodied giant who lived on an island far to the west. Heracles fought Geryon, killed him, and drove the cattle back across the sea. The friezes show the hero standing victorious over the giant, his club raised, the cattle moving behind him. The 11th labor was to fetch the golden apples of the Hesperides. These apples were guarded by a dragon and nymphs. Heracles tricked the Titan Atlas into getting them for him while he held up the sky. The stone carvings show him standing tall, the weight of the heavens on his shoulders. The 12th and final labor was to bring Cerberus, the three-headed hound of the Underworld, to the surface. Heracles went into the land of the dead, wrestled Cerberus without weapons, and dragged him before Eurystheus, who was so terrified he begged Heracles to take the beast back. The friezes show the monstrous dog snarling, Heracles gripping its necks, unafraid. After completing these 12 impossible labors, Heracles was freed from his punishment and became immortal. The stone friezes that tell his story remind us of his strength, bravery, and endurance. They were carved to honor him, so that people would never forget the greatest hero of Greek myth. And so the legend of Heracles lives on, not just in stories but in stone, etched forever into the history of ancient Greece.